Welcome back to WesternWater.com's weekly water report. Here's your roundup of some interesting water stories impacting the Colorado River Basin for the week of May 12th through May 17th, 2025. A new study published in the journal Nature Cities has uncovered a startling fact. Nearly 34 million Americans live in areas where the ground beneath them is sinking, and some of the worst affected cities are right here in the Colorado River Basin. Cities like Houston, Dallas, and Fort Worth outside the basin have the most dramatic shifts. In the Colorado River Basin, Phoenix and Las Vegas are each experiencing land subsidence of up to 3.5 inches per year due to groundwater pumping. Even Denver is sinking, with over 65% of the city experiencing some level of vertical land motion. The study attributes 80% of this subsidence to groundwater withdrawals, especially from confined aquifers, which compact as water is removed. That leads to gradual, often invisible damage to roads, bridges, and buildings until the cracks start to show. The takeaway? Drought and overpumping are reshaping our cities from below, and local action like aquifer recharge and zoning reforms has never been more urgent. There may be light at the end of the tunnel in the 12-year legal dispute over Rio Grande water. New Mexico, Texas, and Colorado told a federal judge this week that they've reached a potential settlement. This comes after the United States Supreme Court struck down a previous deal in 2024, arguing it excluded critical federal interests. The case revolves around claims that New Mexico pumped groundwater meant for Texas under the 1939 Rio Grande Compact. Now, attorneys say they're cautiously optimistic about the new agreement. While the city of Las Cruces has voiced concerns about its municipal water supply, the states and the federal government appear ready to finalize terms that could avoid a trial scheduled for June. If you use water in Utah's Benjamin Subdivision, listen up. You must file a water user's claim by May 22, 2025. This is part of a general adjudication process, basically a legal effort to inventory and confirm all water rights in the Utah Lake and Jordan River drainage. If you hold a water right, whether it's for a well, spring, or surface diversion, you need to act. An urgent project along the Tijuana River has entered its final phase, with U.S. and Mexican agencies working around the clock to repair a major wastewater pipeline. The stakes were high. Without intervention, 25 to 30 million gallons of raw sewage per day could have flowed north into California. Instead, mobile pumps and hoses are diverting over 50 million gallons daily to treatment facilities on both sides of the border. The two-phase approach, agreed upon after negotiations with the United States Environmental Protection Agency and others, has already prevented over 500 million gallons of sewage from polluting the river. The project shows what's possible with international collaboration and what's at risk when cross-border infrastructure fails. Snowmelt forecasts are out, and the news from Wyoming is sobering. In the North Platte River Basin, runoff into Grande Dam is expected to be just half of the 30-year average. That means tighter water deliveries for irrigation and power generation across Wyoming and Nebraska. Meanwhile, the Bighorn River Basin is also struggling. Reservoirs like Bighorn Lake, Buffalo Bill, Boysen, and Bull Lake are well below normal inflows. For example, Bighorn Lake is only expected to receive 57% of its average runoff this spring. This spells challenges for both farmers and power producers. With drought persisting and warming trends accelerating, water managers are adjusting reservoir operations on the fly. Governor Katie Hobbs hosted a major roundtable this week at the Central Arizona Project headquarters, bringing together state and tribal leaders to emphasize Arizona's push for a fair Colorado River agreement beyond 2026. Hobbs called on the Upper Basin states, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, and Wyoming, to step up and take real conservation cuts, just as Arizona has done. Arizona has already conserved nearly 4.7 million acre-feet of water since 2014. Without those efforts, Lake Mead would be 100 feet lower. Director Tom Bushatsky warned that the next few months will determine whether a 7-state deal is possible or whether the river faces further crisis. He stressed the need for enforceable cuts from all sides to close the system's recurring shortfall. The latest United States Drought Monitor report shows drought conditions are once again expanding across the Colorado River Basin. As of May 13th, more than 71% of the western United States was abnormally dry or worse, up from 68% the week before. Over 50% of the region faces moderate to exceptional drought. There were some improvements along the Arizona-Nevada border, but worsening conditions were recorded in western Colorado, northern Utah, southern New Mexico, and parts of Wyoming. With the snowpack runoff season coming to a close and temperatures rising, water demand is about to surge. That makes this an especially fragile moment for water managers and communities throughout the basin. That's it for this week's Water Update. For more in-depth reporting, daily updates, and resources tailored for the Colorado River Basin, visit westernwater.com. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We'll be back next week with more stories that matter for water in the West. Stay informed, stay resilient. See you next time.